All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I am Saira Mujtaba and with me is Sarabjeet Kaur. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says government ready for meaningful discussions and answer all questions in Parliament. Communications Minister Ashwini Vaishnav denies charges of snooping as false and baseless, requests Lok Sabha members to examine issues on facts and logic. Home Minister Amit Shah says disruptors and obstructors will not be allowed to derail India's development trajectory. Country's overall COVID vaccination coverage surpasses 41 crore mark. Uttarakhand government extends COVID curfew for another week with more relaxations. Centre exempts importers of pulses from stock limits. Norms for millers and wholesalers also relaxed. India emerges as fifth largest foreign exchange reserves holder in the world. US and its allies accuse China of state-sponsored massive global cybercrimes. And in cricket, second ODI between India and Sri Lanka to be played in Colombo today. As the nationwide free COVID-19 vaccination campaign at government facilities for those above 18 years is going on, we advise our young listeners to get vaccinated and also help others get vaccinated. We also advise our listeners not to lower their guard as COVID-19 remains a threat to our health. Please stay at home unless it is essential to go out and continue to follow these three simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now the news. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that government is ready for meaningful discussions and to answer all questions during the monsoon session of the Parliament. Talking to reporters ahead of the monsoon session, Mr. Modi urged all MPs and political parties to ask the most difficult and sharpest questions in the House.
सदन परिणामकारी हो, सार्थक चर्चा के लिए समर्पित हो, देश की जनता जो जवाब चाहती है वो जवाब सरकार को देने की पूरी तैयारी है। मैं सभी माननीय सांसदों से, सभी राजनीतिक दलों से आग्रह करूंगा कि वो तीखे से तीखे सवाल पूछें, धारदार सवाल पूछें, लेकिन शांत वातावरण में सरकार को जवाब का मौका भी दें, ताकि जनता जनार्दन के पास सत्य पहुंचाने से लोकतंत्र को भी ताकत मिलती है, जनता का भी विश्वास बढ़ता है और देश की गति भी तेज होती है प्रगति की.
Mr. Modi also appealed to all to cooperate in following all COVID protocols. The Prime Minister urged floor leaders to take out some time this evening. He said he would like to give them all detailed information regarding the COVID-19 pandemic.
ये पैंडेमिक ऐसी महामारी है जो पूरे विश्व को अपनी चपेट में लिया हुआ है, पूरी मानव जात को अपनी चपेट में लिया हुआ है और इसलिए हम चाहते हैं कि संसद में भी इस पैंडेमिक के संबंध में सार्थक चर्चा हो, सबसे प्राथमिकता देते हुए इसकी चर्चा हो और सारे व्यवहारू सुझाव सभी माननीय सांसदों से मिले ताकि पैंडेमिक के खिलाफ लड़ाई में बहुत नयापन भी आ सकता है, कुछ कमियां रह गई हो तो उसको भी ठीक किया जा सकता है और इस लड़ाई में सब साथ मिलकर के आगे बढ़ सकते हैं.
The monsoon session of Parliament began yesterday on a stormy note. Both the houses were adjourned for the day following the opposition's uproar on various issues including price rise and farmers' issue. In the Lok Sabha, Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi said the government is ready for a discussion on any issue and urged the opposition to allow the House to function. Amid noisy scenes, the Prime Minister rose to introduce new ministers in the Union Council of Ministers. He expressed his displeasure over the unruly scene in the House when women ministers and ministers from SC and ST communities were being introduced. He questioned the mentality of not seeing their glory. He said the House is witnessing such a scene for the first time. The House witnessed 2 adjournments before Speaker Om Birla adjourned the House for the day. Opposition members reached the well demanding repeal of the farm laws and shouting slogans over rise in fuel prices. The House also paid tributes to 40 of its former members. 4 newly elected members also took oath. Similar scenes were witnessed in the Rajya Sabha, leading to multiple adjournments. Amid noisy scenes, the House took up the Marine Aids to Navigation Bill 2021 for consideration and passing. The deputy chairman repeatedly asked for order in the House, but in vain. As the uproar continued, the House was adjourned for the day. Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu, while making opening remarks, said the second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic has tested us severely. He said the governments and all others concerned had to work overtime to clear the bottlenecks in the health infrastructure. The Prime Minister introduced new ministers in the Union Council of Ministers amid opposition's uproar. Leader of the House, Piyush Goyal, condemned the opposition for disrupting the introduction of new ministers. Earlier, the House paid obituary references to sitting members Dr. Raghunath Mohapatra and Rajiv Satav. It also paid homage to 10 of its former members and actor Dilip Kumar, former Union Minister Ajit Singh and legendary sprinter Milkha Singh. The chairman introduced the new leader of the House, Piyush Goyal. Newly elected member from Kerala, Abdul Wahab, took the oath.
Communications, Electronics and Information Technology Minister Ashwini Vaishnav has emphatically denied all charges of snooping as false and baseless. In a statement in the Lok Sabha in the Pegasus project, Mr. Vaishnav requested all members of the House to examine issues on facts and logic. He said the basis of this report is that there is a consortium that has got access to a leaked database of 50,000 phone numbers. The minister said the report says that the presence of a phone number in the data does not reveal whether a device was infected by Pegasus or subjected to an attempted hack. Mr. Vaishnav said without subjecting the phone to this technical analysis, it's not possible to conclusively state whether it witnessed an attempted hack or successfully compromised.
I humbly submit that the publisher of the report states that it cannot say if the numbers in the published list were under surveillance. Second, the company whose technology was allegedly used has denied these claims outrightly, and the time-tested procedures of our country are well established to ensure that unauthorized surveillance cannot occur. Honorable Speaker, sir, when we look at this issue through the prism of logic, it clearly emerges that there is no substance whatsoever behind this sensationalism.
Home Minister Amit Shah has said that disruptors and obstructors will not be able to derail India's development trajectory through their conspiracies. He said the monsoon session of Parliament will bear new fruits of progress. He said disruptors are global organizations which do not like India to progress, and obstructors are political players in India who do not want India to progress. The Home Minister said a report was amplified by a few sections late Sunday night to humiliate India globally a day before the monsoon session of Parliament. The Home Minister said people have high hopes from the current monsoon session as key bills for welfare of farmers, youngsters, women and the backward sections of society are lined up for debate and discussion. Mr. Shah assured the people that the Narendra Modi government's priority is clear, which is national welfare. He said the government will keep working to achieve this no matter what happens.
A forum of concerned citizens from various walks of life has urged retired civil servants to refrain from putting the Indian democracy, its institutions and persons legitimately holding high offices in poor light by making ill-considered public statements. In an open letter, the forum, including people from judiciary, civil and police services, armed forces, academia, professionals and other intellectuals, said the recent statement containing its allegations against the Uttar Pradesh government under the garb of protecting the constitution is an irresponsible statement. The concerned citizens forum said rather than pursuing a covert agenda through a false narrative, civil servants should be seen as persons of intellectual integrity, objectivity and fairness, of grace and dignity. Minority Affairs Minister Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi has been appointed as the Deputy Leader of the House in the Rajya Sabha. He has succeeded the Commerce and Industry Minister, Piyush Goyal, who has now taken over as the Leader of the House. In a tweet, Mr. Naqvi thanked Prime Minister Narendra Modi and BJP President JP Nadda for giving him this responsibility.
The Lok Sabha is scheduled to take up the Factoring Regulation Amendment Bill 2020 and the National Institutes of Food Technology, Entrepreneurship and Management Bill 2021 today. The Rajya Sabha is scheduled to discuss the Marine Aids to Navigation Bill 2021 today. In the Upper House, Communications and IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnav will make a statement regarding compromise of phone data of some persons as reported in the media. You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says government ready for meaningful discussions and answer all questions in Parliament. Communications Minister Ashwini Vaishnav denies charges of snooping as false and baseless. Requests Lok Sabha members to examine issues on facts and logic. Home Minister Amit Shah says disruptors and obstructors will not be allowed to derail India's development trajectory. Country's overall COVID vaccination coverage surpasses the 41 crore mark. Uttarakhand government extends COVID curfew for another week with more relaxations. Centre exempts importers of pulses from stock limits. Norms for millers and wholesalers also relaxed. India emerges as fifth largest foreign exchange reserves holder in the world. US and its allies accuse China of state-sponsored massive global cyber crimes. And in cricket, second ODI between India and Sri Lanka to be played in Colombo today. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
In a landmark achievement, India's overall COVID vaccination coverage has surpassed the 41 crore mark. The cumulative figure stands at 41 crore 13,55,665. The Health Ministry said more than 47,77,000 vaccine doses were administered yesterday. Over 12 crore 73 lakh persons in the age group of 18 to 44 years across 37 states and union territories have received their first dose, and more than 50,58,000 have received their second dose since the start of phase 3 of the vaccination drive. 3 states, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh, have administered more than 1 crore doses of the vaccine in the age group of 18 to 44 years. 13 states have vaccinated more than 10 lakh beneficiaries in the age group of 18 to 44 years. Uttarakhand government has extended COVID curfew in the state for another week from today with more relaxations. Cabinet Minister Subodh Unyal said people travelling from one place to another within Uttarakhand will no longer be required to carry a negative RT-PCR or rapid antigen test report. Earlier, it was mandatory for people going from plain areas of the state to the hill districts to carry a negative RT-PCR or rapid antigen test report. Shops and business establishments in the state can now open from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week. The early opening time for them in Uttarakhand was 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Water parks have also been permitted to open with 50% capacity from today. Rest of the conditions will remain the same during the extended curfew that begins today.
In view of the COVID-19 situation, the West Bengal government has now made it mandatory for all inbound flight passengers from other states to show a certificate of 2 doses of vaccination or RT-PCR negative report. The new norm comes into effect from today. The RT-PCR test has to be done within 72 hours prior to departure. Earlier, the rule was applicable to 5 states with high COVID-19 infection rate. Nagaland has reported 62 fresh positive cases of COVID-19, taking the overall numbers to 26,744. The daily positivity rate is 6.51%. With the recovery of 61 patients, the total recovered cases now stand at 24,321. The death toll has mounted to 516, with 2 deaths reported in the last 24 hours. The state's current active caseload stands at 1,147.
The central government has relaxed stock limits for millers and wholesalers and exempted importers of pulses from stock limits. The decision was taken after considering the softening of the prices and feedback received from state governments and various stakeholders. These entities will, however, continue to declare stocks on the web portal of Department of Consumer Affairs. The stock limits will be applicable only to tur, urad, chana and masoor till 31st of October. The Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution said for wholesalers, the stock limit will be 500 metric tons, provided there should not be more than 200 metric tons of one variety. For retailers, the stock limit will be 5 metric tons, and for millers, stock limit will be the last 6 months reduction of 50% of annual installed capacity, whichever is higher. This relaxation for millers will have a downstreaming effect in terms of giving an assurance to farmers at this critical juncture of kharif sowing of tur and urad. India has emerged as the 5th largest foreign exchange reserves holder in the world after China, Japan, Switzerland and Russia. In a written reply in Lok Sabha, the Minister of State for Finance, Pankaj Chaudhary, said the country's forex reserves stood at around $609 billion on 25th of last month. He said the country's foreign exchange reserves position is comfortable in terms of import cover of more than 18 months and provides cushion against unforeseen external shocks. Mr. Chaudhary said the government and the Reserve Bank of India are closely monitoring the emerging external position, calibrating policies or regulations to support robust macroeconomic growth. He said in 2020-21, India's balance of payments recorded surplus in both current account and capital account, which contributed to the increase in foreign exchange reserves during the year.
Prasar Bharati and IIT Kanpur will collaborate on Next-Gen Broadcasting Technology Centre of Excellence to spur Atmanirbhar Bharat in media and broadcasting. As a follow-up to the MOU signed between Prasar Bharati and IIT Kanpur, a Centre of Excellence for Media and Broadcasting Technologies will be established at IIT Kanpur. 3 areas have been identified to be taken up under the aegis of the Centre of Excellence: direct-to-mobile broadcasting and convergence with emerging 5G standards, artificial intelligence and advanced algorithms for audio-visual media. Prasar Bharati CEO Shashi Shekhar Vempati said that India, as the largest open markets for digital video content and smartphones, will benefit immensely from the indigenous development of converged 5G standards for direct-to-mobile broadcasting. He said it will pave the way for an Atmanirbhar Bharat as envisioned by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed grief over the demise of Srimad Vidyadhiraj Tirath Sripad Vade Swamiji of the Sri Sansthan Gokaran Partagali Jivottam Mutt. He passed away yesterday morning in his mutt in Partagal village in Kanakona Taluka. Mr. Modi said Swamiji will be remembered for his extensive service to the society, particularly in healthcare. He expressed condolences to his countless followers.
U.S. President Joe Biden's administration has accused China of running a massive global state-sponsored cybercrime activities causing billions of dollars of losses to victims. In a show of solidarity indicating the serious global repercussions, all his 30 NATO allies, European Union, Australia, New Zealand and Japan joined in indicting China. U.S. Justice Department charged 3 Chinese officials of running the hacking operation against systems around the world, looking for, among other things, information on dangerous diseases like Ebola. Such information about diseases could be used in biological warfare or for creating diseases like COVID-19. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said that the U.S. and its allies have formally confirmed that China's Ministry of State Security used vulnerabilities in Microsoft Exchange server in a massive cyber espionage operation. It compromised thousands of computers and networks, mostly belonging to the private sector victims. Back home in Orissa, the Return Car Festival in Puri is being celebrated today. Adequate arrangements have been made to ensure the smooth conduct of the Yatra amid the pandemic for the 2nd consecutive year. More details from our Bhubaneswar correspondent.
Like during the Ratha Yatra that was celebrated on the 12th of this month, the Bahuda Yatra or the Return Car Festival of Lord Jagannath and his siblings will be held today without the general devotees due to COVID-19. Accordingly, the local administration has clamped curfew in and around the Grand Road in Puri, besides disallowing people to witness the Yatra from rooftops and sealing all entry points to the holy city to prevent congregation. Even the chariots will be pulled by the servitors who have been tested negative for the virus. However, the return of the deities Lord Jagannath, Lord Balabhadra and Devi Subhadra from Sri Gundicha Temple to Sri Mandir in their grand chariots on the Grand Road will be telecast live for the benefit of the devotees in general. Girish Chandra Das, AIR News, Bhubaneswar.
With 4 days to go for the Tokyo Olympics, AIR today takes a look at Apurvi Chandela's shooting career and whether she can use her previous experiences to get a medal at Tokyo. A report from our sports desk.
Born on 4 January 1993 in Jaipur, Apurvi will be one of the 4 Indian shooters with prior Olympic experience going into Tokyo 2020. She belongs to that generation of Indian shooters who decided to join the sport after witnessing Abhinav Bindra's gold-winning run in Beijing 2008. After the retirement of Anjali Bhagwat and Suma Shirur, the women's 10-meter air rifle scene in India witnessed a lull, which was evident at the 2012 London Olympics when no female rifle shooter from India qualified. All this was to change at the 2014 Commonwealth Games with 21-year-old Apurvi winning the gold. India had a 1-2 finish in women's 10-meter air rifle at Glasgow. Apurvi would go on to win a bronze at the Changwon World Cup in 2015. But her best moment during that Olympic cycle was a silver in the 2015 World Cup finals. Her performance, however, in Rio was disastrous, much like the rest of the Indian shooting contingent. In 2018, ISSF changed the format of women's air rifle to make it comparable to the men's event. Women would now fire 60 shots instead of 40 in qualification and 24 instead of 20 in finals. This worked to the advantage of Apurvi and other Indian shooters. The year 2019 was the best year of 7-year-old Apurvi's career. She posted a new women's final world record of 252.9 en route to winning gold at Delhi 2019 and followed it up with another gold at Munich. She got a gold-silver at 2 ISSF World Cups in mixed team with Deepak Kumar and a silver in 2019 World Cup final paired with a Chinese shooter.
Listeners from across the country are participating in the Olympic quiz with AIR News. Class 5th student Prabhu Ashish Patnaik of Bhubaneswar in Odisha was the first one to send in the correct answer to the question asked on 18th of July. Speaking to AIR News, Prabhu Ashish Patnaik expressed his happiness on winning the Olympic quiz and wished the Indian Olympic contingent the best for Tokyo Olympics.
I am very happy to win All India Radio Olympic Quiz Contest. I am thankful to All India Radio News. My best wishes to Indian athletes. I wish they win medals for India and make India proud. From Odisha, there are some players in men's and women's hockey team. Women's sprinter Duti Chand is also from my state, Odisha. I wish her all the best. Duti Didi medal जीती के आसियो. Jai Hind.
To participate in the Olympic quiz, tune into our program Sports Scan at 7:20 p.m. every day. Youth Affairs and Sports Minister Anurag Thakur informed the Rajya Sabha in a written reply that Indian sportspersons and teams will be participating across the 18 sports disciplines in the Tokyo Olympics. Mr. Thakur said the government has continuously provided support to Indian athletes and teams to enable them to obtain maximum quota for participation in the Olympics and enhance their chances to win medals.
In cricket, the second ODI between India and Sri Lanka will be played today at R. Premadasa Stadium in Colombo today. The match will begin at 3 p.m. India won the first ODI on Sunday by 7 wickets. The third and final ODI will be played on 23rd of this month. Both the teams are also scheduled to play 3 T20 matches starting from 25th of July.
And now let's take a look at the weather report today. The national capital Delhi is likely to experience generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. Temperatures will hover between 24 and 34 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have a generally cloudy sky. Moderate to heavy rain is likely to occur in the city and its suburbs. The temperature will hover between 25 and 28 degrees Celsius. Chennai is expected to have a partly cloudy sky. Temperatures will vary between 26 and 34 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will have a generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. The temperature will hover between 28 and 33 degrees Celsius. Srinagar will experience a generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. Temperatures will hover between 18 and 24 degrees Celsius. Leh is expected to have a generally cloudy sky. There is also possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Temperatures will hover between 13 and 24 degrees Celsius. Gilgit may have a cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Temperatures will rise from a minimum of 20 to a maximum of 34 degrees Celsius. Muzaffarabad is predicted to have heavy rain and thunderstorms. Temperatures will hover between 27 and 33 degrees Celsius. Guwahati is predicted to have a few spells of rain or thunder showers. The minimum temperature was 25 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be 32 degrees Celsius. Imphal will have a generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. The city observed a minimum temperature of 21 degrees Celsius and there will be a maximum of around 28 degrees Celsius. Shillong may experience moderate rain with temperatures hovering between 18 and 24 degrees Celsius. Aizawl will have a generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. Temperatures will hover between 19 and 26 degrees Celsius. Kohima is expected to have a generally cloudy sky with moderate rain with temperatures rising from 18 to 26 degrees Celsius. Itanagar may have a few spells of rain or thunder showers with temperatures hovering between 22 and 30 degrees Celsius. Gangtok and Agartala are both likely to have a generally cloudy sky today with few spells of rain or thunder showers, while Port Blair may have 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. Almost all dailies have covered the start of the monsoon session of Parliament, Delhi's deluge on Monday and stories related to COVID. Monsoon session gets off to a stormy start, writes the Hindustan Times, while the Tribune headlines PM slabs opposition's negative mindset. As the national capital woke up to a rainy morning on Monday, the Times of India writes, Delhi gets season's first heavy rain day, over 100 millimeter in 24 hours. The Asian Age reports rain clogs traffic in Delhi, showers to continue today. On the latest regarding COVID situation, the Pioneer headlines, Be careful of COVID for next 2 years, says AIMS. The Statesman reports Delta variant accounts for 80% of new cases. In some good news, the Economic Times reports, amid burgeoning global demand, Indian IT to hire over 150,000 freshers in financial year 2020. And finally, after landing in the Japanese capital for the mega sporting event, the Statesman writes, Indian athletes start training ahead of Tokyo Olympics.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Modi says government ready for meaningful discussions and answer all questions in Parliament. Communications Minister Ashwini Vaishnav denies charges of snooping as false and baseless, requests Lok Sabha members to examine issues on facts and logic. Home Minister Amit Shah says disruptors and obstructors will not be allowed to derail India's development trajectory. Country's overall COVID vaccination coverage surpasses the 41 crore mark. Uttarakhand government extends COVID curfew for another week with more relaxations. Centre exempts importers of pulses from stock limits. Norms for millers and wholesalers also relaxed. India emerges as fifth largest foreign exchange reserves holder in the world. US and its allies accuse China of state-sponsored massive global cybercrimes. And in cricket, second ODI between India and Sri Lanka to be played in Colombo today. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a great day.